Yo, and what's up, guys? Ace Anime, or also known as Joker's Anime, here. Now, today we are going to be talking about something that, in my opinion, is probably some of the most hype we've seen since the release of Gear 4, the Dressrosa arc. This has brought in so many theories, so many ideas I've seen across other YouTube channels and across a lot of the groups I'm in, like the One Piece Amino, where I posted up this theory originally. And I thought I'd just discuss it a bit more, and it's about Katakuri versus Luffy. Now, where are we exactly going to start with this? Well, I'm going to go from chapter 878. You know what? It was as hot as it is down here in Australia in the summertime, so this was such an amazing chapter. Perospero wounded by the suicide bombing of Pedro. Now that was a big thing. Losing Pedro was big, and having that flashback and seeing Pero so injured was just amazing. And we even got to see a chapter with Roger in it. We know it's hype when we see the two kings of the king of the pirates, the future and the past king of the pirate, in the same chapter, having their own sort of almighty moment. We also had Big Mum trying to eat the Thousand Sunny. Now that was pretty funny. I think she might have thought it was hundreds and thousands or something. She was pretty hungry, you know. It's Big Mum. What are we forgetting? That's right. The most important part is, I said at the start of the video, Katakuri versus Luffy in the mirror world. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. This will be a one-sided affair. Like, Katakuri will annihilate Luffy. Luffy has no chance. This is Katakuri. He's the second after Big Mum in the Big Mum Pirates. He's the leader of the Sweet Commanders. He has the highest bounty known in One Piece so far. And you know what? I do have to agree with you. He's an absolute tank. His observation haki is out of this world. He is a powerhouse with his Mochi Mochi abilities. But here are my main three reasons why I actually think a bit differently. I'm not saying that Luffy is going to outright win, but after you hear these three reasons, I just want to see what you guys think. If you agree, please tell me in the comments. If you disagree, you can say in the comments too. It'll be good to have a discussion. I had a good discussion in the Amino with a couple of people in chat and a couple of people on the post, but here we go. Originally, Katakuri is known to be superior to Luffy in the observation haki. As we've seen, Katakuri being so adept in the way of observation haki that he can actually see somewhat into the future, which is absolutely frightening. Now, if I remember the main part when this happened, there was Beige sitting there, and when they were showing the Big Mum Pirates, he was saying that Katakuri is going to be the most troublesome due to his observation haki being just out of this world. Yet, in the end, did that really save him from being dragged into the mirror world? No, it didn't. As seen in his statement, I see, you are right, if you do that, I won't be able to do anything else. Katakuri was grabbed by a gear-free elephant gun of Luffy's. Now, my original thought was, why couldn't he do it? Is it because there was something behind him? Is it because I didn't know what originally it was, whether it was just because he was standing on Carrot. I didn't know, but then something sort of clicked in my mind. Remember, he has that Mochi ability, which is said to be a special paramecia and quite similar to the properties of a Logia user. Now, that could just be his awakening. He could be amazing with it, and just his observation haki allows him to use his Mochi ability quite similarly to that of Doflamingo's right-hand man. Now, in saying that, I don't see that. I see him being quite similar to the Logia, that he can make his whole body Mochi, which has been said. So, with him being like that, because he's not a normal Logia, and Mochi isn't like fire, wind, lightning, earth, and that he cannot disperse into the air or the ground like a normal Logia user. He has to move like Mochi itself, so he would be moving as Mochi, which is that slimy, sticky substance that has that all that elasticity. The other relates to his Bushoku Haki, which is his armament haki. Now, if Katakuri's armament haki was superior to Luffy's, he would be able to use his devil fruit and not be damaged or hit by Luffy's attack. Yet he was clearly grabbed, seen as his specialty is observation haki. My theory is that his armament haki may be lacking compared to someone like Luffy. For example, as said by Oda, Zoro is the armament specialist while Sanji is observation. Luffy is the conquerors, but Luffy is good and excellent in all of the haki fields. His armament, his Kenbushoku, his conquerors, absolute monsters. So he is quite adept in all fields, similar to Doflamingo. So that is the reason I see him being able to get injured by Luffy, as he can only one, disperse his body in certain ways similar to that of a Mochi movement, and his armament is weaker than Luffy's. Now, going on to that second part. Now, you may be asking, how is his armament weaker than Luffy's, as most of Luffy's attacks have passed right through him? Now, as we have seen, yes, the attacks have passed through him, and that, I have a theory on that. So originally I was agreeing with everyone. I said, you know what, his armament haki is not stronger. Luffy is all out weaker. He has no chance against someone like Katakuri. But there's one thing that we're all overlooking, and that's Katakuri being able to see in the future. He's already seen that Luffy is a danger to Big Mom in the near future. So what is stopping him from seeing into the future and seeing where Luffy is going to attack and make a hole with his mochi? If his body is made out of mochi, he can maneuver it into like a hole where Luffy's fist can go through. Now, this is a strength of his. This is an amazing strength because it makes him so much more adept at dodging attacks, and it's also so good at fooling opponents who may have stronger armament haki into believing that their armament haki is weaker than him, making them at a disadvantage, doubting their own powers, and starting to get weaker and tiring themselves out. Yet, what if they had a bigger span, like a bigger area to use as an attack, and that is where Luffy comes in. Luffy, using his gear 3, covers such a great area that he could not make one hole big enough in time to disperse before Luffy reached him. That is why he could not do anything about moving out of the way and not stopping being grabbed. So he could not move around, as Luffy's haki was stronger than his own, allowing him to make contact. Now, number 3. So this goes on to my part 3, the long-awaited fight. Now, who do I think will win the fight between Luffy and Katakuri? Now, using the above mentioned, plus factoring in Katakuri's possible awakening of his devil fruit. So his awakening could either be him just turning into Mochi, so having that low gear user, or it could be something completely different, similar to something like Doflamingo's, where he turns the environment around him into Mochi. I have no idea. As it is of now, along with Luffy's known powers, I have to give it to Luffy. Now, before you stop before you stop here and just say, you know what, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, think of it like this. Luffy is quite honestly one of the worst opponents for someone like Katakuri. Not only is Luffy's armament haki, if true, I am not sure, this is only theorized, if his armament haki is stronger than Katakuri, he can make contact with someone like Katakuri, who can turn into Mochi himself. Now, with that, his haki being so extremely impressive on its own, but his armament, Kenbushoku, and Conqueror has been so extremely impressive, but he can change the size of his body parts due to him being rubber, as seen in Gear 3 and Gear 4. No matter if Katakuri can see into the future a certain extent, if Luffy can cover a large enough area as seen when he grabbed Katakuri, the attacks such as Gear 3 or Gear 4 King Kong Gun, Katakuri cannot dodge in time no matter if he sees the future. Now, he won't win easily, as this can go to Katakuri for multiple reasons, such as being a superior opponent and more experience in battles, along with his future side of his Kenbushoku haki. He can trap Luffy before Luffy figures out his weakness. So yes, I would at this moment still give the fight to someone like Katakuri. One, because his experience is so much greater than Luffy's own, and two, because he he has a reason to. He's got a bit of a hate on for Luffy at the moment, especially what after happened to his brother. He definitely cares for his brother. Now, yet another danger of Luffy for someone like Katakuri who relies on foresight and future sight to fight is unpredictability and lack of thinking. Luffy changes on an instinct which can affect Katakuri's future sight of his Kenbu Shakuhaki as it makes more possibilities in that future movement. Along with his Gear 3 and Gear 4 covering more area, there is even less chance for Katakuri to dodge. Now, we do not know if he's like Cracker and cannot take damage well and just goes out after one hit, or whether he can tank a few hits like Dofi does, because Dofi was a bit of a tank in that regards. So, it really depends and factors in the full extent of what Katakuri can do. At the moment, I see Katakuri losing just if that happens. I'm not saying outright. At the moment, I would still put Katakuri as my favorite to win. I actually like Katakuri more than Luffy, so part of me wants to give it more to Katakuri, but going over those facts and over those observations that I've seen, similar to Katakuri's observation haki, I would have to say in the near future, or even in the next couple of chapters, we will see Luffy beating Katakuri in one of these ways, or if you go off Joy Boy or Legend Mac, a possibility of a new gear, but I do not see that happening. I see it a bit too early for something like that to be reached. I just want to know, what do you guys think? If you enjoyed this theory, please leave a like, subscribe and share with those in your One Piece community. Share it with your friends, because this is absolute hype. Anyway guys, this is Ace Anime, Joker's Anime, out. Peace.